Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. In this video I'm going to show you how to change the water pump and the thermostat on the E53. This is a pre-facelift model. This is the 4.4 liter with the M62. Why am I changing it in the first place? This is a 20-year-old car that's been sitting for 10 years. Wasn't maintained in that time, of course. Has only 50,000 miles on the clock and it is overheating. So when I got the car, the radiator had a leak right here in the corner. That's left me stranded while getting the car. It's overheating because of the leaky radiator, of course. However, that was changed and the car is still overheating. I also changed the secondary water pump or the auxiliary water pump. That is the pump, this case, sitting down here. That's a separate video. And that auxiliary water pump pumps the water through your heater circle. So that is how you get the hot air inside. And I changed that pump because the fuse 48, if I remember right, kept popping, and that is a fuse that secures your climate controls, so you wouldn't have any controls over your AC or heating because the pump was just seizing up slowly and giving a high resistance. That caused the fuse to pop, and that takes out the entire system. Changed that auxiliary pump, that is working again. Fuse is not popping anymore, but the car is still overheating, so there's not much left to it. Now, thermostat and water pump. I honestly don't think the water pump is the culprit, but it could be because here are the parts. If you look at the pump, it's freaking metal. It's a metal wheel. So this is not like the E46 pumps, the 6-cylinder pumps I know that have a plastic wheel and they just get brittle and fall apart. It happens. I also don't think it has play. I changed the belt already on this car. There was no play really in it, but the bigger chance is that the thermostat just has some issue. That's the new one, of course. Sensors already in here. I have 2 more sensors. And these are the thermo sensors. One goes into the pump down there, I believe, and the other one goes, I think, somewhere down here. Somewhere down there is another sensor. I just changed them both just to be, make sure that may not cause any problems. They're also old. The initial water that came out of the system was brown, so I'm just making sure here to change the sensors with the pump thermostat sitting right down there because you have to take the fan out, but we get to that in a minute. Will this solve my overheating problem? I hope so. But either way, this is just showing you how to change these components and we go from there. Components, of course, the thermostat has its own seal. This will bolt onto here, and then this interestingly shaped seal is going to seal your pump, this surface, and these two go to the pipes that are sitting in there that go to the back of the block. So to start, standard procedure, you remove those 4 pins, you take this inlet scoop out, take out the snorkel here also. I will just unclip the top part and I will loosen it here on the throttle body, give me the most space that I can see. Don't forget your vacuum hose down here. I think there's another one underneath this one here. Take this out of the way. I take the fan out. It's a reverse thread on the fan, don't forget about it. And I'm also gonna remove the under tray, a couple 10mm and a couple 8mm, then that comes out, so I can catch all the coolant that's gonna escape downwards. So with all that stuff out of the way, now we can actually work in here. And of course you have to get to here. This is your thermostat, that's the water pump. You see you have one sensor here. There's one here on the thermostat. For the disconnectors, of course. You have this main pipe going here. You have one coming out here. You have these 2 pipes. And actually you can see they are a little bit leaky. So it's good you also change those here. And once the pump is out, I can look a little bit further inside, but it looked dry to me the last time I got to peek in there. And it is time, of course, to take the entire assembly out. So first, before you take off the belt, you want to open or at least break loose those 4 screws for the disc already, because otherwise it's just going to spin freely and you're not doing yourself a favor. In my case here, you can see the tensioner here. This is the tensioner, fairly ancient. You have to open both of these. I think it's 13 millimeters, and the back one is 16 or 17, or maybe just 15. That is which you use to tension. You tension this one here, connects to the plate, and then you just secure the other one and then the other one. It's a little bit of an odd procedure to tension it, and you have to tension the, you roll here the right way or it's not working, but you can figure it out. It's not that complicated. Just remember the path the belt takes. You can look here, it goes over the pump, it goes then under this roll down there to the crankshaft. On the right side is the tensioner pushing down between the pump and the alternator, and down there your power steering pump. That is pretty much it. So I'm gonna break those screws loose, loosen the tensioner, take the belt off, and then take the disc off, and we take a look after that. So if you look closely, now with all the stuff out of the way, you can see some blue in there, and it's moist. So there is some leak, and also somewhere down there is a reflection of something. There's a little bit of a leakage here. These 2 pipes have a tendency to leak. I just hope it's only in the front, not in the back. I see that once the pump is out. Now comes the ugly part, which is loosening the hoses and make a mess, which I hate absolutely. However, we have one here, and there should be another one somewhere here on the pump. Probably gonna open this one first. This is just the water in the block right now coming out of the bottom connector. So everything is loose. I'm going to open the screws, mostly under and behind the pump, and then take the water pump out. So because work on a car is never as easy as you think. There's one bolt at the bottom of the pump, this one here. It's in like this, it's right down here, which you have 2 options to get to. Either you be a man and remove the AC belt and then the crankshaft pulley, which I have no interest in doing that. So plan B is just make more space by removing this pipe. It's already loosened here anyway. It connects down there, in there, and also on the other side in there, held by 10 millimeter each side. Just loosen up this hose here carefully, because it's going to be brittle as always. And then you take this pipe out, and that should just give me enough space to access this bolt with a 10 millimeter key. So I really don't want to take the pulley out, because this is going to be more of a struggle than this pipe and a little bending here. So I got the last wiggled out patiently, carefully. You also want to empty your catch can first down there, just in case you drop something in, because you don't want to dive in that old coolant. So it's out, the water pump is loose. Now it's time to get it out. How do I know it's loose? Because the new one, I placed the old screws in all the holes where they go. I still need the screws for the thermostat, but first let's take it out. Should be loose, just a matter of wiggling it out. And of course these two pipes, gotta be careful not to pull them out of the back. Preferably I'm lucky, it just comes out in the front. If not, I have to fiddle them back in. So let's just have a look at it. You can see here, mentioned that pipe is out. It has to go back in there. This is what I do not like to see. The hell is happening here? Well, water comes in here. I have to clean this up for sure. Also this pipe a little bit. And if you look here, it is a plastic wheel, the old one. We have some oil here also. So, interesting. And you can clearly see that the center bearing here corroded also. Oh wow, this is so brittle now. Maybe it's a paper seal, right? Oops. There you go. So, it is out, it's clean up. It's left on the block. See all this grime here? Other than that, all teeth on there, all wheels, all shovels, whatever you want. Sensor is also pretty iffy. To say the least, quite some buildup of stuff in here, which is super gross. I have to open the thermostat, we'll take a look in there. Okay, so let's take a look. Look at all this earth. That's what we call it, earth. Do you see? It is super iffy. So this is the reason why the car was overheating. Showed you all the gunk, it's already piece already falling out of it. And I tried to compress it, nothing, barely anything. And of course the new one, at least this little spring works. Let's take a look inside. Yep. So don't ask me where it comes from. Wow. I'm just getting rid of it now. So first things first, the pipe is to go back in, then install the seal, it's paper seal, and then the entire assembly. The screws will be torqued with 10 Newton meter. Also the thermostat onto the water pump. It's also 10 millimeter. And so let's start. Get this thing back together. But of course, before putting the new seal on, you want to clean the old mailing surface. You take a fine like 1000 grit sandpaper and just remove the residue from the old seal before you put the new one on. So the pump is in. My only concern is the pipes that go through, because you have no chance of really pushing it in. Only thing I can do is make sure it's in the back, make sure it's centered in the front, and then the pump is where it's supposed to be. It's all in place. Now I'm still installing the little sensor here. Changing the sensor is rather easy. You just push this little clamp, it's on the pushed backwards, hold it, pull up your connector, and then for the sensor you just have these two hoses here that unlatch it, so it just like this, push, pull out, that's it. And then you want just snaps in. Of course you're going to lose some more coolant down there, so we're ready to catch it. And you have a nose on here, it's on the left side here. So make sure your new one goes in the same way, or it won't go in all the way. New one's already in, done. Let's continue with the pump. So lastly, gotta bleed it. Kinda missed a little bit. The carburet now is checked up on the front. The tires are in the air. I filled it up all the way and already started ignition, so it already went through the auxiliary heating circle. So I'm gonna fill it up again and then we go again. Heat is on max. Direction, all directions. Fan speed is minimal, and now you see it's coming down. You close your bleeder valve, bleeder screw, it just runs through the heat cycle. I'm gonna give it a moment, and then I'll top it up again. So now it's full, not overfilled. Put the cap on. Close this, and now we want to start the car and give it some revs. Self-bleeding system, right? So it's actually not that complicated. You have to rev it, of course, closed system, and you rev it, and then the water pump will push it through, and all the air will collect in the expansion tank. So now the car is still warm. It's been idling for like half an hour, which before it overheated. Now it's all cool. You also notice the fans. Initially, the front fan will probably be on. When it gets hot, of course, first the thermostat opens. If it gets even hotter, you give it some more revs. Then you will hear the visco clutch on the fan, the main fan down here. That will engage, and then this auxiliary fan will actually turn off. And you can hear the clutch engaging. It's just louder, so it makes a lot more wind. That's when you know thing is running warm. If it disengages again, meaning the system is working, it's cooling the car down, it doesn't need all that cooling anymore, it settles. But you will have to rev it in order to push the air and the coolant out. Now the car is warm, I let it sit. Once it's cold, I open up, I check the level, top it off, and that is it. So that's how you change the water pump and thermostat. That, radiate a new thermostat, water pump, sensors. It's not leaking, which is great. Car doesn't overheat anymore. Ready to go. Next thing, backup camera. Thanks for watching, and I'm gonna see you in the next video.